Hey guys, we are back with another episode of Franchise Hockey Manager 9 with the Seattle Kraken. As promised, it is January 1st, and you can see your Kraken are 20-15-1 and currently sitting in 7th place in the Western Conference. Before we get into the stats, I did make one deal to try to shore up our defense, so I will show you that here right now. Where is the transactions? Right here. We sent Jared McCann, who hadn't been playing badly. I mean, he had 30 goals for us a year ago, 65 points, but was signed to a 6-year contract. He was making 6.5 and then 4.2. So the cap hit was $5 million a year for the next 4 years. Not terrible, but definitely a contract I wanted to move on from, given that he's 27 and still signed for 4 more years. We also sent Maxim Strabak, an 18-year-old defenseman who currently plays in college for Sacred Heart. He looks okay, frankly. Potential 3-star and a 3rd-round pick to the Montreal Canadiens. And in return, we get the 21-year-old Caden Gould. Caden was a 1st-round pick in 2020 of the Canadiens, number 16 overall, and we pick him up for McCann, Strabak, and a 3rd. Already a pretty good defenseman, very good, very strong hitter. It's good stick work, still needs some work on that positioning, but overall for a 21-year-old who's making the minimum, that is that's a pretty solid deal for us. So we've added Gould, and it looks like his contract is up. So let's make sure we go in here and re-sign. I know we can auto-qualify, but I would rather, for 3 years, I'd rather lock him up. He's 21 now. So let's, meets man. All right, so we'll do that. Get him signed. Obviously, we want to get Matty Beniers signed. 3.8 for 2. That's a bridge contract if I've ever seen one for a 21-year-old. Can we just get him locked up long term, like 8 years? And if we start at like 3, use for all. I can't imagine that he's going to take this, but let's see. 3, 5, 7, 7, 6, 6. 6 and 5. Doesn't be tied up that long. All right, so let's go back to the 2 years. And let's just meet the demand, I guess, for now. I was hoping we could get him signed long-term. Siegenthaler is somebody I want to get signed long-term, but his contract demands, he's up over $4 million for 3 years. He looks pretty good. His game rating is only a 61. He's got 18 points in 36 games. He's really good defensively. Yeah, I like Siegenthaler. I really do. I just don't know that I can afford to bring him back. So that's the one deal we made. We picked up Gould, 21-year-old defenseman who's now in our top 6. Statistically, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. We were going to be a very, very good offensive team and a very porous defensive team. Pastrnak is doing exactly what we signed him to do. 20 goals, 24 points, 44 points in 33 games for Pasta. Matty Beniers and Burakovsky playing alongside him, both averaging almost a point a game as well. Duclair's having a nice year, but his contract is up as well, and he wants over $5 million a year. I don't know that we're going to be able to do that unless we can get rid of some of these other contracts. Jaden Schwartz having a good year. He's on pace for 53 points in 75 games. Bjorkstrand 52 and 82. Connor Bedard, his rookie campaign looking pretty sharp. He's on pace for 27 goals in his rookie season. Pavel Zacha's not scoring a lot of goals, but he's averaging almost a point a game, 22 points in 30 games. Travis Sanheim was out with an injury. He's back, so we can put him out there. 19 points in 34 games for Sanheim. Shane Wright, his rookie campaign, 8 goals, 18 assists. He's a +4. Gavrikov, we brought in the offseason. He's down to 2 stars, but his game rating's really bad. He's a +5, but that game rating's bad. Schultz contract is up at the end of the year. Carlo hasn't been particularly good. Jagger Furcus has played 28 games, has a couple of goals. Adam Larson's been really bad. We gotta. Oh, that's right. Sam Hyde's suspended. That's right. It's been a few days since I've played. I've been out of commission here for the last couple of days. I'm finally feeling normal. Oh, we also picked up Morgan Frost on waivers from Philadelphia, and he's got 6 points in 12 games. So that's kind of where we are. I'm gonna sim January kind of offline, so to speak. You guys don't need to sit and watch it take an hour to sim through. So I'm gonna sim through. I don't believe I'm gonna make any deals between now and then, but I am thinking about potentially, like, I would rather move Gavrikov and keep Siegenthaler. So if I can move Gavrikov, who's in his first season, I can move that contract. If I can move, I don't know, who else would I want to move? Schwartz. If I could move Schwartz, that would be good. Yeah, I mean, not Carlo, but yeah, I mean, if I could find a taker for, one of these 3-star players like Schwartz, for example, like that would be a big one. If I can move Schwartz and Gavrikov, and that allows me to re-sign Siegenthaler and Duclair, I think that's a fair trade for next year. It's going to hurt me this year, but I think that's a fair trade for next season. So I'm going to sim ahead, guys. When I come back, it'll be February 1st, and then we will get ourselves up to the trade deadlines. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. It is February 19th. I simmed about a month and a half with the trade deadline being March 3rd. I figured this would be a good way to good place to sim up to. And you can see we're 30, 25, and 1. Currently in 5th place in the Pacific and in the 8th spot in the Western Conference. Again, pretty good offensively, top half. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're 5th in the West in goals for, and towards the bottom in goals against. Not a surprise. We got some click issues, which I'll show you here in a minute. Statistically, Pasternak, 56 points in 53 games. He's been everything we could have wanted. Beniers and Burakovsky having good years alongside him. Duclair having a good year. Zacha, only 8 goals. But again, 34 points in 50 games is not bad. Got a decent game rating. We've got some bad scores defensively. We're still going to be looking to move Gavrikov and who was it? Gavrikov and Schwartz here as we approach the deadline. Let's see who's available on the trade block. Oof. I wouldn't mind picking me up a Tim Stützle. He's really good offensively. His defense is meh, but imagine him on the top line with Pasta and Beniers. That's a huge contract hit, though. Josh Norris. Wow, he's really good, too. Is there any way we can make this work? You can see I was starting to mess with it a little bit, and it just wasn't happening. So if we go... Like, we've got 4 5-star forwards, and then David Pasternak. So, I mean, I almost feel like we should be saving our bullets for a defenseman to go along with Sanheim, right? Like, that feels like the right move, but that's hard to pass up. Schwartz, Ottawa can't add that. I mean, I'll retain. I don't care. And that is not interesting. I think it's interesting. So we have a first, a second, a third, 2 fourths, a fifth. All right, so let's go down here and let's offer you our 2026 first. Yeah, we're not even close. All right, that's fine. That is fine. So let's go ahead and remove. Let's remove. It's a pipe dream, and it's nice to think about, but you can't trade for every good player, right? So Jaden Schwartz. We had offers from Ottawa, the Islanders, the Bruins, the Canadians. They want to send us a 6th. Andre Andronoff. The Bruins want to send us 39-year-old Nate Thompson. The Canadians want to send us a 6th. We get a 6th-round pick for Jaden Schwartz. That feels really undervalued. but I think he has a no trade clause, right? So we need to take that into account. Yeah. Toronto, LA, Vancouver, Washington. What about Toronto? They've got the cap space. Again, I think it's interesting. You may not. Second round pick, they don't find interesting. Third round pick, they don't find interesting. Yeah, we're talking like a fifth or a sixth. Maybe they've got like a young player that they'd be willing to part with. Maybe we want to find a team that is not in rebuild mode. I think maybe that's the key. Calgary, Tampa. They're in win now, but they don't have any cap space. I mean, I could probably retain. And then if I took a bad contract back, I don't really have a bad contract, but I could take Philippe Myers. You don't think they'll accept that offer? Interesting. Yeah, that doesn't help. Bruins. They're in win now mode. They've got the cap space. They have the interest, though. Position again. Left wings. Jade Schwartz. Bruins players. Yeah, I mean, they've got the cap space to make it work. It's just, do they have any interest? Is there anybody here that really appeals to me? Jacob Lauko? It's hardly likely. We'll offer it and see what happens. I can't imagine they're going to accept it. So we're just going to say, as we get closer to the deadline, we'll get those immediate responses, which is kind of what I'm looking for. So we had a game at Winnipeg. Mackenzie Blackwood's fifth in the NHL in wins. It's just Aiden Hill's been so bad. We beat Winnipeg. We move up into fourth place, tie with the Kings, but we have more wins. It looks like we might be a playoff team this year, guys. But I still would rather move those two contracts and be able to bring back Steve. Oh, wow, we're up to third place now. Tied for third, back-to-back wins. Buffalo Sabres coming up. Can we get back-to-back wins? Let's see. Wow, 3 straight wins for the Kraken here. Excellent. That was a nice week. Let's go back and let's take a look at some of those games real quick. So, 3-2 win over Winnipeg. We get Burakovsky and Duclair in the first. They actually tied it in the third, and then Jagger Firkus with 4 seconds left wins the game for us in that one. Then we beat Dallas 4-2. Duclair, we were down 2-1 entering the third, and then Duclair, Pasternak, and Schwartz in the third. We get Aiden Hill stops 27 out of 29, and then we beat Buffalo. Fell behind 2-0 there. Schwartz, Glendening, Sanheim, Pasta picks up his 30th. And in the third period, Connor Bedard picks up his 22nd. Mackenzie Blackwood stops 33 out of 35. And yeah, we win a bunch of games in a row there, so that's nice. And trading block, has this changed at all? It has. Tony DeAngelo is a putt. I could take him, but I would never forgive myself. Anybody not? Yeah, the problem is like the players that I would want. Like some of these players are not bad, but they're all signed to like 1-year contracts, and then now we're dealing with re-signing players that I don't particularly want to deal with re-signing, or alternatively, they've got ridiculous contracts like Stützle. All right, let's get to March 1st. This is a good stretch for us. We're up to 3rd place in the Pacific. 33, 25, and 1. We've got St. Louis coming up tomorrow. It's a big game for us. St. Louis, middle of the pack, just like us. Can we win? Nope, we lose that one 5-2. So we're still in 3rd place because we have more wins than the Kings, even though we have the same number of points. There's Pasta in the top 8 in goals. We didn't play a game here, so we have a game in hand on St. Louis. We got the best team in the NHL coming up tomorrow, but that'll be March 1st. So we'll have to reset our budget and kind of do all that March 1st stuff. Yep. All right. Development report. Riker Evans. I just need to see that defense for Evans hit a 13. And then once it hits a 13, I'm comfortable throwing him out there every day. Luka Hauff, one of our top picks last year. Otto Vinen is getting closer. Connor Bedard, better stamina. Jagger Firkus, better at fighting. Siegenthaler, better shooting accuracy. McCormick, Bonino, and Schultz all get worse. That's fine. Let's delete the messages. Set our monthly budget. Yeah, the numbers are going the wrong way. Let's drop that down there. Is this because we have too much invested into our... No, our staff expenses are only 3.2. So we're just not generating a lot. I don't understand. I don't understand I think maybe we raise the ticket prices next year a little bit. All right, we're a couple of days away from the trade deadline, so let's go back in and take another look, see if it's changed at all. It hasn't. It's all the same players. So, all right, let's go in. Let's just see. That's from offers from Gavrikov. Okay, wow. Brendan Dillon, 33-year-old Brendan Dillon, 7th round pick, 7th round pick, 7th round pick, 7th round pick. Brendan Smith, 7th round pick, 7th round pick, 7th round pick. And I think this is the answer, right? I mean, 2.5-star, 19-year-old Ryan Brown was a 5th round pick in 2023. I think I'm fine with that. Move Gavrikov. Yeah. Bring in Ryland Brown. And now that should let us come in here and re-sign Siegenthaler. So let's start 3 years at $4 million and see what he says about that. He wants 4.7, so let's bump all this up. 4.6. Let's offer him 4.5. I think that probably gets it done. Nope. Okay. 4.62. All right, that's fine. Signed him to his 3-year, $4.6 million contract. He'll probably sign that. And that was one of the things I wanted to do, right? Was to move Gavrikov so that we could re-sign Siegenthaler. We can move Brown to Kansas City. Dress Artem Zub. And then from a forward perspective, we need to move Schwartz so that we could potentially re-sign Duclair. Or let's see. Yeah, all of these 21, 22, 23-year-old players are going to be RFAs. Chances are most of them get re-signed. I mean, I would be thrilled if they didn't, and I would be more than happy to offer contracts to them. More than happy to. But yeah, most of these 21, 22, 23-year-old players are going to be RFAs. Capo Caco on Calgary. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, if we move restricteds, yeah, we get a much different list if we remove restricteds. It looks like Sebastian Aho is the top target, which maybe that might be somebody we take a shot at. And there are a couple of decent defensemen in here that we could potentially add. Brett Pesci's really solid defensively. Forsling looks pretty good, pretty well-rounded. Same thing with Roenick. Giordano's up there in age. Matty Grzelcyk. So it looks like there's some decent defensemen. I don't know that I want to spend Devin Taves. Devin Taves looks really good. Wow. Okay. So there are some options from a defensive perspective. I don't know what we're going to have for money, but it's going to be hard to pass up someone like Sebastian Aho, that's for sure. But I wouldn't mind taking a run at Tyson Barrie. I mean, he's more of an offensive-minded guy, but he's or not Tyson Barrie, excuse me, Devin Taves. He's 30 years old. I mean, he probably wants $5 or $6 million a year, but that wouldn't be awful, assuming he's still there. I mean, it's entirely possible that he's not even there. So what happens if we try to trade Jaden Schwartz? 3 offers: the Islanders, the Bruins, and the Canadiens. So it's going to be, we can get a 6th round pick for Jaden Schwartz. That's really underselling there. A 31-year-old, 14 defense, 15 physicality. Maybe we can we, let's, you know what, I want to try something. I want to see, let's go here. So who would I like to bring in? Because maybe I can bring in one of these players on one of these players that's on a 1-year deal. But none of them are really playing any better than the guy we have out there. So, yeah, Schwartz got 42 points in 57 games. Like, do I try to pick up someone like Cam Atkinson instead? And just play him through the end of the year and then let him walk? Oh, he's got 2 years left. I don't know that I want to sign him for 2 years. Atkinson and Arvidsson are both very good offensively, very bad defensively, which is not what we need. We need really somebody who's the other way around, and that's Schwartz, frankly. Ryan Lindgren. He's only played 7 games for them this year. He's really good defensively. If we brought in someone like Ryan Lindgren, we'd have Gould, Siegenthaler, Sanheim on the left, and Schultz. Yeah, let's talk to the Rangers about Ryan Lindgren. And I would be fine. Oh, come on. Don't be dumb. Just, come on, don't be dumb. Like, really? You want to give up Ryan Lindgren and you want me to give you Connor Bedard? Like, come on. What am I willing to part with, though? Oh, it's not possible because I just signed him this year, right? Man, Lindgren looks really good. I mean, he is a rock defensively, and we could use that down the stretch here. All right, so let's think about this. I got to move Larson in the offseason, too. Will anybody take him? Will anybody take him for anything right now? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to jump on one of these picks here because do we bring in Brendan Smith? No, I think we just pick up another 7th. I don't think it matters. Let's just pick up. Let's take the Leafs 7th. It's fine. Just move Adam Larson, get that $4 million off our contract or off our books. Coachella, Ryder Evans, or Riker Evans is almost ready, but now I really want. No, I don't want to go there. I want to go here. Now I really want. What's his name? Ryan Lindgren. All right, so what can we do for Ryan Lindgren? What can we do? Wrong team. That is the wrong team. It says Kraken players, but those aren't Kraken players. Here are the Kraken players. All right, so what do we want to do to move on? Did Gould sign that contract? He did. Okay. Getting super sidetracked here. Couple of players I don't particularly care about, and then if we go to, we got a lot of players here, man. A lot of 2.5 and 3-star players. I mean, I'm okay with this. An interesting offer, but I have to increase it a little. All right, what's a little? What if I give you that 7th-round pick that I just got from Toronto? All right, fine. So we're going to pick up Ryan Lindgren. That's going to shore up our defense for the rest of this season. Can he play the left side? He can, not particularly well. What about the other guys? Can they? Gould can play the right. Okay, so we will replace Zub with Gould, and we will replace Zub with Lindgren. So that should. Carlos Sanheim, Siegenthaler, Lindgren, Gould, and Schultz. Yeah, that'll work for now. That shores up the defense nicely. Lindgren, Siegenthaler, and Gould, Siegenthaler, Lindgren, Siegenthaler. Yeah, that shores up the defense quite nicely. Let's get the power play line set the way we want. Yeah, that shores up the defense quite nicely. And what does that do? What does he want for a contract? Because that might be the answer. Where am I going? What am I doing? Ryan Lindgren. Why can't I offer him a new contract? Oh, crap. Okay, he's signed for the next 2 seasons at 4.2. All right, that's fine. That is fine. So I didn't even notice that. So if we look at our cap obligations for next season, currently sitting at $66 million. That doesn't include Siegenthaler, who's likely to re-sign for $4 million. So that puts us up to 76. Dredger finally comes off the books. We can look to move Hill. If there's an elite defenseman in free agency, maybe we move Carlo. Maybe. From a forward perspective, Duclair is gone as of right now, but I think that's probably okay because we move Furcus up. And Schwartz, while not great, gives us a defensive presence that we don't have with some of our other players. So I think I'm okay with this. So let's sim through this game against Colorado. We have to select our captains, okay? Mental ratings. Siegenthaler is our captain. Schwartz, and I guess we go Carlo. Siegenthaler. Blackwood. Connor Bedard. He's going to be one of our alternate captains at age 19. All right, let's go to the next day. See how this game goes against Colorado. We lose 6-5. All right. Yeah, so we're slipping a bit, but I think Lindgren really does solidify the defense. He's not particularly good offensively, but we now have a bunch of defensemen that are 15 or 16 or higher. Not very good offensively, but end the day. We'll check the trade block once more. So Aiden Hill is likely to be moved in the offseason. Jaden Schwartz likely to be moved in the offseason. And I think tomorrow is the deadline, so we'll get there. Wow, we slipped down to 6th. We were in 3rd. Still have 2 games in hand, however. Trade proposal from Vancouver. They want to send us Julian Hebert for Anthony Duclair. Ooh, he was a 3rd-round pick of the Canucks this past season. Has the potential to become an outstanding player in our league. Middle of the pack in terms of whether or not he's actually going to make that. I don't think I can do that right now. That sounds like a pretty good deal, but I don't think I can do that right now. Trade block, same names on there, so I think we are done. Relatively quiet. Schultz will be gone next season as well. So that's going to do it, guys. Fairly quiet. I didn't want to make any big splashes, but most of our good players are studs that aren't going anywhere anyway. So we're almost through kind of those bad contracts that the team had to begin with. Schultz will be gone. Schwartz, we gotta look to move on from. We have to figure out what we want to do with Burakovsky and Borkstrand. I mean, those like Borkstrand, I don't know, like he's not playing on one of the top lines, which is affecting him. But like that's a lot of money for somebody who's only giving us 20 points a game or whatever. So, or 20 points a season, or he's a 40-point season right now. So, I don't know. I still think we need to focus on the defense, and I feel like I did that this episode with Caden Gould and Ryan Lindgren. So we get younger. So we've got Gould, who's 22 overall, but still not his final form. Siegenthaler, 16 defense. Sanheim, 16 defense. Lindgren, 16. Zub is a 15. Carlo is a 16. So I feel like we've got some good defensive defensemen, just no real offense on the back end. So when we come back, guys, it'll either be the postseason or it will be the offseason, depending on what happens with us between here and April. So that's going to do it for this episode. I appreciate you watching, guys, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.